Hey guys, welcome to one of my videos. This is for some of the Linux questions that you may be asked in the interview, and I'll just go through what all answers that you have to give so as to be a developer as well as an admin in Linux or Red Hat Linux. So let's see step by step. Let's go one by one. I have some questions, answered and answers. So I'll just share the answers with you with for those questions. So let me see what are the questions. So I see here the questions are as follows. The first is how do you check the disk space on a Linux server? So you have df-h is the command that you can use to check the disk space. Second, how do you know if a port is listening or not? You have a netstat command, okay, and if you do grep listen, you can listen to all the ports. The applications is listening on a specific port. You can get it. How do you check which process is consuming the highest CPU on Linux server? There is a top command. Okay, I think I have something running here. This is a top command, so you can see the highest percentage of CPU that is being generated. So this is how it is. Then this is a very important process. What is a parent process and what is a child process? So as you know, whenever application starts, there is a process, and that process can be divided into parent and child process using a fork command. So there is a fork function which divides your parent as well as the child process. And for the example, if you are transferring a file from one folder to another folder, so you see that the file is getting transferred, okay, as well as you see an image that tells you how much percentage of the file is getting transferred. So that image is the child process, and whatever happens during the copying of the file from one folder to another folder is a parent process. So parent process is always communicating with the child process. Once the child process provides exit code to parent process will be happy enough to get it cleared from its table. Then we have something called a zombie process. If the child process does not provide any exit code to parent process, it will be a zombie process. That means it is not child process will be converted into zombie. Okay, that means it is not able to provide any response to the parent process. Next, if you see here, what is an environment variable? Environment variable during a bash rc startup, during the startup of your server, you can add environment variables in the bash rc script. Say as you can export some environment variables for https proxy or java home or maven home. These are some environment variables for python, any of the programming languages. Then you have something called as how do you check the memory and a swap memory. What is a memory and a swap memory? Swap memory is when you are installing an operating system, you are being provided with a swap space, and that swap space is used to store certain static files. That is what is swap memory. You can go into details, but this is the basic thing. Then how do you check if you have an access to a remote server? If you have an IP and a port, detail is a very easy thing. It's you can do a telnet IP space port. You can also use NC, that is called netcat package. You have to install netcat package. Is the same thing. The netcat commands. If you're able to see my screen, this is for both the there are these are for multiple ports. This is for a range of ports 20 to 25. And these multiple ports. If you want to remove the ports, you can remove it based on your requirement. Some questions on Ansible. What is the difference between role and playbook in Ansible? So you know what is a role and what is a playbook. Playbook is doing a mapping between hosts and the roles. Role is a specific to a specific operation, and you have certain plays written inside that. And playbooks are nothing but you do the mapping of hosts and the roles. How do you encrypt encrypted files in the Ansible? It's used using Ansible Vault. Ansible Vault in collections. There is a concept which can encrypt files as well as, okay, as well as your folds. So basically files as well as the strings inside the files. Sorry. So the strings inside the files, you can do this. There are certain commands that you can use. See how you do. This is the encryption of strings inside the files, and this is the encryption of all the files. Thanks a lot. Thanks for watching my video. Stay tuned.